Can I have everyone's attention, please? We just got everybody to If I can get everyone's attention, we're going to start all the festivities. And we'll start singing. Never close your eyes anymore when I kiss. Sorry, I'm in the Navy, so that's like, you know.
It's a stand-up comedy. Yeah.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Can I get your attention? Hi.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I should introduce myself. My name is Cleo. I'm one of Lance's cousins. We're here all to celebrate Lance's celebration of life. Thank you for everybody for coming out, showing your love and respect to my cousin. Obviously, he was very important to each and every one of us. He's touched every one of our lives in one manner or way. It's just great to see this turnout today. It's amazing. I know he's looking down on us. I know he's smiling. I know he's very proud that everyone that he was able to touch was able to give that same love and respect back to him today. He was very close and special to me. We were pretty much like brothers. He was my road dog. If anybody ever remembers, there's a special photo that we have where it was me and him as little babies playing with a stick of butter. That's a story for another time. But, I just want to thank everybody for coming out today and celebrating with us his life. So first off, we're going to have my uncle, Lance's dad, do the eulogy. We're going to have some special guest speakers, and we're going to have some performances. And at the conclusion of all this, downstairs, we're going to have a celebration of life video for him. So when you get an opportunity, please come down and check it out. I appreciate everybody being here. Thank you. Aloha.
Who knew? Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of our family, I'd like to welcome you and thank you for all coming. We really appreciate it. As we celebrate Lance's life. First, we're going to start off with Ohana. And does everybody know what Ohana means? Okay, so whenever I say Ohana, I'm going to give you a chance to repeat what it means, right? Okay, So here's your chance. Ohana. What does family mean? All right. Good. Okay, you all watch Lilo and Stitch. I have my right glasses. All right. So we invite you to laugh, cry, sing along if you know the songs. And if you don't know the songs, go ahead and sing along anyway. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rick, Lance's dad. In your program, it says Rick Chavez, father. But don't confuse me with Father Rick Chavez. I'm not a father, but I was an altar boy. I was not Lance's father, but I was the only dad he ever had. He was born in Hawaii on 12/11/79, and just happened to be my birthday also. So we shared the same birthday throughout our lives. He came to California with his mom, Carrie, to start a new life. They moved in with Carrie's sister, Jonette, and her husband, Rod, and their 3 kids. So there were 4 kids growing up in one place.
That was fun.
It was fun. So when I first started dating his mom, he was about 2 years old. And every time I would come to pick his mom up, he would greet me with a big smile, and he was always sucking his 2 fingers. I don't think he said anything to me for at least 6 months. He was very shy. After dating Terry for about a year, I moved in with Terry, who lived with her brother-in-law and sister and the 3 kids and Lance. So like, now we got one more, a Mexican. So we were one big happy family. It was never a dull moment, for sure. And I remember the first time he called me dad, it like, everybody was silent. There was silence. And nobody knew what to say. And then Terry asked if I was okay with that. And I was like, yeah. And I was okay with it. So from that moment on, I was his dad and he was my son. I did all the things with him that I wish my dad would have done with me. We taught him how to ride a bike. I know. How to hit, catch, and throw a baseball. We took him to his first Dodgers game. He loved it and became a lifelong Dodgers fan. And bought him his first Dodger hat, which he wore all the time. He had noticed that I would write my name on the underside of the bill. So he was so proud to show us that he had written his name on his. So we turned it over and looked at it and like, okay, L-I-R-H-A-N, Lurhan. So that became his name for a little bit, Lurhan. But he loved the outdoors. We took him hunting, fishing, camping, and we were so happy that he was passing this on to his children now. When Terry and I were married, he was 5 years old. He was our ring boy. And after that, I wanted him to have my name also. So we began the process of step-parent adoption. I hate the word step-parent. It took us almost 6 years of going to court several times and trying to get his father to sign the papers. But we were so excited when he finally became Lance Chavez. He never once said to me that you're not my father. We were always dad and son. I was his baseball coach from T-ball until high school, and he was a very happy child. He loved music. Queen was one of his favorites. He might have gotten that from me, but I can remember him riding in the back seat and rocking out to Bohemian Rhapsody. He loved being around his family, Ohana. Especially his papa and grandma. Several summers we would send him to Hawaii to stay with papa and grandma. And back in those days, when we say send him to Hawaii, we send him to Hawaii. We put him on a plane, not with us. We trusted it. The stewardess or whoever took him, he was going to Hawaii. He was 4 years old. Okay, bye. We'll see you in a month. So he would go by himself, and Papa and Grandma would pick him up at the airport. And usually we would go like a month later, and then we would pick him up and bring him back home. So he would come back from Hawaii tanned and about 10 pounds heavier and speaking pidgin. That's where he got all his aloha spirit, I believe. I think his nickname Bo came to be around the 7th or 8th grade. He loved to pull pranks, practical jokes. He was always clowning around. So therefore, we were looking for a name for him, nickname, but in the early 90s, there weren't that many famous clowns. There was Ronald McDonald, Krusty, Henry. So the other choice we had was Bozo. So we called him Bozo sometimes. So Josie was the one that shortened it to Bo and stuck. We grew up in Gardena and Torrance, North Torrance. He went to high school at North Torrance High School. He graduated in 1996 after a lot of pushing from mom and dad. After taking a gap year or two, that's what they call it now, a gap year. That means you're not working, or you're just staying home and sponging off your terms. He decided to join the Marines. And the day, I can remember the day he came up to us and he's like, I'm going to join the Marines. I said, okay. So my cousin's husband, Brian, who's here downstairs, he was a Marine at the time. And it was like, let's call Brian, take him down right now before he changes his mind. So Brian came like that day and we took him and he went down and he signed up and came back. And it was probably like a 6-month process maybe before he finally got in, and they took him and they made a man out of him. He had, besides Uncle Brian, his great uncle Louis was a Marine, his uncle Brandon were all Marines. So he served proudly from 1998 to 2002. When he came home, he brought a wife and our first granddaughter, Hoku. And they stayed with us for a little while until they bought a house in Las Vegas. And they were separated sometime in 2006, I believe. And that's when he began to hit rock bottom. He lost his parental rights, which really sent it off the deep end. He missed his daughter that he loved so much. He bounced around, coming home and leaving again over the next 10 years. And I believe he introduced us to Lori and her two boys, our now grandsons, CJ and Carter. Sometime in 2014. Lance and Lori gave us our second granddaughter, Nohea, in 2015, and our youngest grandson, Kaika, in 2018. He loved his daughters and all his boys so much. He wanted them to experience all the things he had done when he was growing up. We were very lucky to have vacationed in Hawaii with all of our children and their children this past March. He was so excited for his children to see where he came from and for them to meet their great Auntie Sharon and all their cousins. We're going to miss his smiling face, boisterous laugh, giving personality. He always wanted to be with Ohana. Spreading his aloha. He was very proud of his sister Ipo, his brother Keone, and his niece Hilani. He loved his wife Lori and their children with all his heart. He loved his grandma, aunts, uncles, cousins, and all of his friends. Lance, we know that you're home now in peace with Papa John, Uncle Brandon, and Cousin John. Lance, thank you for making me the dad that I am today. Mom and Dad love you so much. And we will miss you every day, every hour, until we meet again. Aloha, son. A hui ho, with all our love, Mom and Dad.
Thank you for it. Those are very touching and magnificent words you said.
Great performance on the ukulele.
Yeah, great performance on the ukulele. Album is dropping next month. For our next guest speaker, we have Lori's sister. Yeah, Lori's sister Lynette.
Back to you, right? We're tired. Gotta give you one. I just want to warn you guys that I'm so sorry if you can't handle the way that I express my feelings. I'm going to start from the top. It may be a little long, but I apologize if you cannot express my feelings. Good afternoon. I would like to thank everyone for being here today to honor my husband, to remember my husband, Lance, as we celebrate his beautiful life. I would like to thank everyone for their outpouring love and support for our family, along with their generous donations to me and my husband, to me and my children, to relieve some of the financial burdens that Lance passing has brought to us. From the bottom of my heart, again, I'm sorry. If I cannot read this correctly, I'm sorry. It's never easy to prepare for a moment like this. I certainly never imagined I'd have to prepare a speech remembering him and saying farewell to my husband as he has much more life ahead of him. Instead, I have always thought that one day we would both be standing here in front of all of you saying our marriage vows to each other while we witness the love that we had for one another. But sadly, this is not the case. Now that we will always be forever, I'm sorry. This is not the case that this is ever going to be remembered for Lance and I. For one day that we could ever hope to be saying our vows in front of one another, to witness the love that we had had for one another. I stand before you alone, trying to get the courage to read the perfect eulogy for someone that should still be here. And that is my husband, Lance Chavez, Lance Brandon Chavez. As many of you know, Lance is a very special person, and I knew that from the very first time I met him. We did not meet in the most conventional ways. But when Lance and I met, we were both struggling from the same addiction. Personally, I got to the point to where I was so tired of living the life of being on that road with the wrong people and didn't want to continue down the same path we were both living on. At the time, Lance had to complete a court-ordered program to help him fight his addiction. So I wanted to help him. But in reality, he was helping me. You see, I was so tired and broken that I just wanted to be home with my kids. So that's what I did. I went home and brought Lance with me. I told my mom, I'm not leaving, and Lance isn't leaving with me. She argued with me. About what I had just said, and I said yes. I understand what I'm saying. Lance isn't leaving. I'm not leaving, and Lance isn't leaving with me. My response was simply yes. I'm staying, and so is he. And then, like who knows, that I would be taken into the VA to get him help, and that's what I did. So from that very day was when the day it all started. I called it our beautiful miracle love story. A miracle love, a miracle because there are a few people who go through what we have gone through, who actually change their life around and build a beautiful life together. When I admit, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It's not okay.
You got this, Lori?
This isn't fair. Where were you left up here? I have no idea. Where?
As many of you know, Lance is a very special person. I knew that from the very first time I met him. Well, I met her. We did not meet in the most conventional of ways, but when Lance and I first met, we were both struggling with it. Oh, we did that on that. Hold on, fast forward.
Sorry. She kind of jumped around. Oh, no, she kind of came back.
When I met, yeah. Down here, yeah. Yeah. Okay, when I met Lance, he was kind and patient, but was also broken. But it didn't matter how broken he was because I saw past his brokenness. And we were actually broken together. I had the privilege to learn, know, and fall in love with the real and authentic Lance. Lance taught me how to love with every ounce of being and taught me how love should be given. He was a romantic. To illustrate the romantic that he was, there was a country love song playing on the radio one day, and all of a sudden Lance started singing the words. I was in utter shock that he knew the words. But shocked or not, this was the magical moment I fell in love with my husband, Lance. I know you all know what charismatic man Lance was, and because of this, he could fit in anywhere and with anyone. He had an infectious laugh that brought pure joy, and you couldn't help but be happy around him. He had the kind of laugh that was so unique that when he laughed, you could hear the joy in his voice. He was the kind of man that people were simply drawn to, and he was everyone's friend. His eyes had glistening sparkle that I loved staring into. When he would stare right back at me, that always made me feel I was seen. I missed that. Lance also had the most beautiful smile in the world that could never be mistaken because that is who he was. He was a man who always kept a smile on his face, even when he was down. Lance was loyal, protective, patient, smart, funny, strong, sensitive, kind, giving, loving, a hard worker, and a good listener, and a provider. Actually, he was so much more than this. He possessed an endless number of traits that I admitted that this list could go on and on. He was a family man and always put our family first. He was a man who never used the word no, especially when it came to our kids. Naturally, because of this, he was always put a smile on their faces. Lance always had big dreams for our future. He had so many restless and sweat-breaking days just to make those dreams come true. Lance was so brilliantly smart that if he wanted something and didn't know how to already do it, he was going to find a way to learn it and get it done.
Lance was my everything. He was my one true love. And not only was he my husband, he was my best friend, my confidant, the father of my children, my plumber, my carpenter, my carpenters, my mechanic, my painter, my therapist, and above all else, our true patriotic hero. Lance was a proud Marine serving his brothers and sisters. Ultimately, Lance was my medicine. He kept me going and aiming for the best life that we could have as a family. He inspired me to want to be a better person and to want to be great at whatever I set my heart on. With only getting 9 years of building our lives together, we were just beginning. So we had much longer life to go. We had so much more exploring and memories to make together. It breaks my heart for myself and our kids that we only have past memories to look back on. And to think to ourselves that was the last time we got to do that with Daddy. Now we're faced with a bunch of births without daddy. First birthdays without daddy, first holidays without daddy, first days of school without daddy, first summers without daddy, and so on. I'm sure you get the picture. Simply put, it's so unfair. It makes me so heartbroken. My heart especially aches for the kids. I'm so sorry. For Hope, who never got to know her dad the way that we got to know him. Having only recently connected with him, I wish she could have heard it from directly just how we are so proud he was of her and how badly he wanted to be a part of her life. For all those years that were so missed, my heart aches. My heart aches for Milan. That she had to discover her daddy the way she did. And I can only pray that she knows that her daddy did not mean for this to happen the way that it did. I'm so saddened by the fact that she will not have her daddy by her side for all the important milestones in her life, like graduation. She won't be walked down the aisle or have a father-daughter dance. I hope on her father was on her father daughter dance. My heart aches for Jaden, who at barely turning 4 years old can't understand why daddy is no longer with us. As he watched daddy, who at barely watched daddy doing what he thought was working. My sweet boy Jaden never even had the opportunity to throw or catch a baseball with his dad, or have daddy coaching him on the sideline. He was just standing there right next to him. I don't understand why. My sweet boy, Jaden, never had the opportunity to throw or catch a baseball with his dad, or even had him coaching from the sidelines as he did with CJ, Carter, and Malaya. Nor did Jaden even get to play in a real game for his dad. It breaks my heart that Lance isn't there to show Jaden the way even get to play in a real game with his dad. It breaks my heart that Lance isn't even here to show Jaden the ways for what a true man is. For how a true man. For how a true man loves and cares for his family the way Lance did ours. My heart aches for CJ that they didn't get to rebuild that car of theirs, that car of his, like they had planned. My heart aches for Carter. That he didn't get the chance to be taught how to drive the way that he thought CJ. Or that Carter will never be able to run routes or throw a football with Dad again. Nor will he be able to play basketball in the street after he had a long day at work. Lastly, for myself, I am in deep, excruciating pain after the loss of my husband. Excruciating pain of my husband Lance. And although at times it may not show because I too can hide behind my smile. I know that sometimes we want to blame ourselves for what had happened to my dear husband. Nobody is to blame, not even him. He had such deep pain. That in his pain, his choice is not a reflection of him not wanting to be here with us, but the pain far greater than what we could handle. What he could handle. In the moment, and Sally, it got the best of him, all of him. He suffered from a mental illness, an awful disease.
It really is no different than cancer. His disease became so unmanageable. I've been letting him take his own life.
His disease became so unmanageable that misled him to take his own life, and an illness so dark that he couldn't see his child standing there to give him the will to live and hold on for help just a little bit longer.
An illness so bad that he couldn't say, "No, you're not even hear my voice." An illness so bad that he couldn't hear my voice that could save him. I think Darman overtook him, and it was so bad that Lance couldn't shake it and find his way back. An illness that was so bad that he didn't want to be in pain anymore, so he isn't. In my heart, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My letter is so long. I'm so sorry. It breaks my heart that Lance isn't ever coming back. or that I don't ever get to greet him when he comes home from a long day at work, or that he won't be home to hug or kiss me the kids goodnight, or that he isn't here to be my strength when I'm feeling weak. How can this be my new reality? So many things that I'm having to learn to live without. Live without him to guide me. I am forced to adjust to a new way of living because he is no longer here with us, where he belongs. Some would say I was his better half, but I would say he's my better half. He was my soulmate. He was my yin to my yang. He was my one true love. In my heart, I know Lance is at peace. I'm no longer suffering from the pain and the torment in his mind that he was experiencing. My husband's pain has been lifted, but he touched so many people's lives as his passing affects so many touched. We are all left with the grief and let's figure out how to move forward, but how? How do we stay strong to move forward? How do we move past the questions of being asked why? Why do we have to lose my beloved husband? I know my husband was so loved and adored by every person in this room. With each other, I know we will all get through this together. I am comforted. I know that when I'm comforted, I need to fall, that I have every one of you that I can lean upon. Crumble and curl into a ball. And each person here is my anchor. Hope you get back up. Walk alongside me and carry me through my weakest moments, lifting me up until I gain strength to continue on this path of learning to live without my husband by my side. What that means to me is that when I cry, I know you will be here for when I feel overwhelmed. When I want to talk I know I can call any of you. At the time that I know I need to talk. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, I know you will offer to give me a break. Please know from the bottom of my heart that I am thankful to know I can lean on each and every one of you here today. I'm so sorry that I took up so much of your time. I don't want to say goodbye. I don't want to say goodbye. And to my finally to my husband, Lance. I hope you are dancing and singing in the choir and looking down on us with that big, beautiful smile. Oh, Lord. You will forever be in my heart and never be forgotten. As we continue your legacy and to keep your memories alive. I know you will live on through our children. And I love you so much, and I wish I could have saved you. I wish I could have saved you. Shine bright, my dear love. So bright that we can find you and fly high. Continue to protect us from up above, as I know you will. Until we meet again, my love. I don't want to say goodbye. I don't want to say goodbye.
Tell me, what does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? And your fears and your pain gone away? It's like it is my say since you left. Everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky. And I hope you're singing in the angel's choir. And I hope the angels know that I've made it so nice and then such a so tell me, what do you All your days filled with love and light. Is there music? Is there art and adventure? Tell me, are you happy? Are you ready for life? 'Cause since you left.
All right, for our next guest speaker, we'll have Lance's sister, Gina, with some lovely, kind words.
Can I squeeze? Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. No, you're fine. No. Yeah. Oh, right. Ow! Okay. I'm trying to I know what I'm trying to do.
Hello everyone, my name is Gina, better known by Lance as G, Fizz, People, or Sis. And Lance to me is Brada, or occasionally Lance when I was mad at him. I'd like to first start by sharing a text message my cousin Josie received from her coworker. She said, I didn't know him, but through you I love him. As I thought about being here today, it made me feel comforted to know I would be surrounded by people who knew and loved Brada. And I'd like you to know that I may not know you, but through him I love you. You have all played a role in his life where you made him smile, you made him laugh, and you made him feel loved. And for that, I thank you so much. I was lucky enough to be brought into this world with a built-in protector and best friend, someone to watch over me and show me unconditional love.
Brada was the best big brother anyone could ask for, especially for a little girl. He always told me how proud of me he was, which meant the world to me. He built a confidence in me, and to him, the sky was the limit for me. Having that as a young girl does something to you. It guarantees you comfort and a love that is forever etched in my heart and soul from him. Growing up, I looked up to Brada with so much pride and admiration, even though he was much, much, much older than me. He was my best friend and would still play with me whenever I asked. This included him being extremely excited when I finally got to join in on camping trips, as he would push me and my floaty down the river. Things got even more exciting when we added the third member to our wolf pack, our little brother One. We would have all-out jam sessions to our favorite hit Queen songs and baseball in the house. Yep, in the house. I also have an early memory of getting our Jeep power ride. Brada took me and One into the backyard and set up an obstacle course full of bumps and ditches for our very own off-road experience. Looking back, it was extremely dangerous. However, me and One never really got to do the course because Brada was the one testing out the course. I can still see him now with his knees butterflied out basically to his shoulders, riding a Jeep and having us push him out of ditches when he'd gotten stuck in them. Now I know this all sounds like rainbows and butterflies, but I'd like to take this time to forgive him for some of the things done to me in my childhood. I forgive him for traumatizing me with Halloween masks by chasing me down our dark hallway. And if you knew our hallway in Hawthorne, you knew I had a long run of fear. So traumatizing that I feared the back corner of Party City where they kept the masks. So traumatized that after using the bathroom, I would sprint out and into the living room just in case he was behind me. I'd also like to forgive him for practicing his WWE moves on me. Yes, his little sister fell victim to body slams and chokeholds. I still do feel I was Rikishi one too many times. And since I have forgiven you, I will also confess to some of the things throughout the rest of this that I feel I can let you know about now. When Brada left for the Marines, I was devastated. I was so proud of him, but having him leave was so difficult. However, the pride of having your older brother become a devil dog outweighed everything. I now sported a dog tag necklace with his picture on it. Me and One's favorite movie was Major Payne. We even made it our mission to march and memorize the Marines hymn up and down the long hallway over and over again so we could show him when he came home. I was so proud of him. Looking through all the pictures, I found one of my best memories. In first grade, we had career day, and I bought a guest speaker, the coolest of them all, a Marine, my brother. As I got older, we became even closer. I was finally able to party with Brada. I had waited so long for this. After years and years of watching him leave to go out with the cousins, and I was finally able to go. Brada came with me to celebrate my 21st birthday in Vegas, of course. Okay, I'm ready for my first confession. We went to a rooftop one night with the cousins and my friends. It was crowded, and I drunkenly turned too quickly, which resulted in me spilling my entire drink on Brada's back. When he turned around, I panicked and told him, "Oh no, he ran off." Brada then began to look for a guy I completely made up. I even helped him search the crowd since I was the only one who saw him. Brada, I hope you can forgive me. And now the second confession, which I will be throwing my cousin Kalei under the bus. It was a cousin's night out for Curtis's 35th birthday. When we made it to dinner, we had all pre-gamed a tad bit too much. I watched Kalei pour what seemed to be our whole bottle of sake into a bowl of rice, thinking it was soy sauce. We then sat and watched later as you drunkenly ate the entire bowl of rice, all while complaining it was too watery. Well, now you know why you passed out in the limo before the DJ even set up. We're sorry. And just when I thought we couldn't get any closer, we grew up. You brought me 2 beautiful nieces and 3 amazing nephews. We called each other to talk about life, and as we would talk, I would be so proud of how far you came. From low points to the highest points of owning your home, having a wife and family, I always had a front row seat to your life. I saw everything you went through to everything you made it to. You never stopped pushing through. I always worried so much, but I always knew you were a warrior and a fighter. One of the most exciting days of my life was getting to surprise you with the news that I finally made you the uncle. When I asked Brada what he wanted Eli to call him, I listed a few names to help him out. Uncle Lance, Uncle Bo. He said he wanted to be Uncle Brada. It was perfect. He was so excited. He went and brought her clothes and toys and her first jumper, which he said he wanted to be like the Lamborghini of all the jumpers. I knew then she was going to be loved so much by Uncle Brada. Brada, the day you left, a piece of me went with you. As I held your hand, I prayed that the peace you yearned for had been found. I prayed and with Papa, Uncle Brandon, and Cousin John were there to hug you and take you home. I wish I could have pulled your hands from your eyes and showed you the truth of how important and loved you are, of how things will never be the same without you on this earth. On my wedding day, I gave you an One keychain. It said, "Brother, always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you ever know." I wish I could read that to you over and over again until you believed all of it. Because it was all true. I love you so much it hurts. I will see hope and light in all our memories. I will see your eyes in love and hope. I will remember your smooth swag through CJ. I will see your caring ways and love for sports in Carter. I will see your strength and beautiful smile in Mohea. I will remember your mischievousness and hear your laugh in Kaita. And I promise that Elon will know without a doubt how much she was loved and what an amazing man Uncle Brada was. I will help take care of Lori. I will take care of Mom and Dad, and I will watch over and protect Orna like you did for us. I will carry you with me, and I will live my life to the fullest, always with you in my heart forever. Ohana means family, and family means nobody gets left behind or forgotten. I am not afraid or ashamed of how my brother left this earth. He hid behind his big smile and loud laugh because he didn't want any of us to know he was hurting. And I know in his darkest of moments, any memory of Brada you had, it lit a match for him in his dark tunnel. We must all carry him and do the things we would have wanted to do with him to light the matches in our tunnels until we can see the light again. I wish over anything that I could have saved him. Every morning I wake up, and when I lay my head to go to sleep, I wish this. But I find little peace in the fact that my brother is with the ultimate Savior. God has wiped away all his tears from his eyes. There shall be no more death, nor sorrow, nor crying, nor pain. My brother is free of all of these things he felt, and his hands have been pulled from his eyes to know his truth. His truth was being the best man loved by many and needed by many. He seizes his importance. Brada, I know that day you made it over the rainbow. And I know you are in heaven where your troubles melted like lemon drops. And I know when I need to find you, I'll look past the clouds and I'll see your smile. I love you for always and forever, Brada. Until I see you again, ahui ho and aloha.
Aloha.
makes you dream of being come true. Someday you wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind. Be where trouble meets like lemon drops, high above the chimney top, that's where you find me, somewhere over the rainbow. Bluebirds fly, and the dream that you did to go wide, oh why can't I? Oh, someday I wish upon a star, wake up with clouds are far behind. Be where trouble is like a raindrop, high above the chimney top, that's where you find me, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. The dream that you did to why can't
For our next guest speaker, we have Lori's sister, Lynette.
Okay, aloha. Aloha. Let's give Lori a round of applause along with Tina for their amazing. So, I'll go ahead and get started. You guys go keep chattering if you want. I just want to get through this because I know I'll fall apart otherwise. Anyways, I'm sad to be standing here in front of you, but also honored to stand before you on behalf of my family and share with you how special Lance was and will remain. He was such a remarkable man despite the trials and tribulations he and Lori faced. I was so proud of him as his sister-in-law and the man that he evolved to be as a husband, a father, a son, a brother, an uncle, and a friend. He had the most infectious laugh, and you couldn't help but to smile and laugh right alongside him. He would do the craziest things too. I know you all probably have endless stories about fun times with him. One story I want to share, which is so memorable to me. At the beginning of COVID, when our families had nothing to do because our crazy, wild children were running all over the place and running our lives, the world was shut down and our kids just were simply kids. We spent a lot of time together during this time. Matter of fact, it was every weekend. Man, lots of plaything. And we all needed a break from our kids during COVID, so we let them loose in my backyard. We had barbecues along with some creative cocktail concoctions that we made up. We had a great time and made some of the best memories. During one of these barbecues, Lance was tasked with being our griller for the day. Not the best idea. Let me tell you, that was probably not the wisest choice that day. The man actually almost burned my house down.
He was trying to speed up the heat on the barbecue that day. And by the way, the barbecue was right next to my house under a covered patio. And Lance thought it was a good idea to pour beer on the grill to expedite getting the heat turned up. Well, guess what? He turned the heat up all right. He practically lit the entire barbecue grill on fire, and the flames just about literally burnt my house down. And I immediately asked my husband if he had house insurance. This was just one example of the crazy things that Lance did that I loved so much about him. But I will always remember and cherish our COVID days together. And I will certainly miss making more memories like these, even if it did almost reach my house burning down to the ground. I did believe Lance would be so impressed with each and every one of you in this room to support him, his wife, his children, his parents, and the rest of his family. This is what he lived for, togetherness. I realize the question that we all have is why? Why did this have to happen to such a wonderful human and a spirit who everyone loved and adored? The answer is simple. There's no satisfactory explanation. But know this, in the midst of our tragedy, we have to remember the blessing, as hard as it is. The blessing of family coming together to support one another. And honestly, I feel like I gained an entire family in the Chavez family. They have welcomed me with open arms. Another blessing is his beautiful daughter, Hoku, reuniting with the family and meeting her siblings for the very first time. Welcome home, Hoku. I don't know where you are. Your dad never stopped loving you, and we are so grateful to have you here. Blessing number 3, the amount of love and the support that has poured into the Chavez family and have blessed the family during the most difficult time in their lives. And finally, and I apologize if this is premature to announce this, but the formation of the nonprofit organization of Live Aloha to spread awareness and prevent other families from being inflicted with the pain caused by suicide. And I know so many families here besides Lance are affected by suicide, including my own father. I'll leave you with this. Tomorrow was never promised. Hug your loved ones and keep them close. I love each and every one of you for pouring into my sister and her kids. And all of you hold a special place in our hearts. And just keep supporting them in this journey as they navigate life without them. Final note, I want to read you John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. God bless you all.
Our next guest speaker is Cousin Curtis.
So everyone, you all heard Uncle Rick talking about when Auntie Terry and Lance moved to California. Well, I was the one who had to give up my room. So when I was a young boy, my mom told me that I'd be sharing my bedroom with my cousin Lance. The only thing I could really think of is that I'm gonna lose my toys, I have to give up half my room. But what I really got wasn't just a cousin, but a brother and a best friend. We did everything together. We went to the same schools. We were on the same sports teams. We bowled together. And he was actually my first doubles partner. We used to dream about being a tag team champions together. And we actually broke my dad wrestling. This was really tough for me because we literally grew up together. He was 2 years old. I was 3 years old. He was a great person, and he affected every one of us so much. I was lucky enough to be able to grow up with him. I had a really tough time, and he was always there for me. He always had the biggest smile. He was able to make me laugh even when I was completely down. And no matter how things are in the future, I'm always going to be able to look back at that. And when I know my life is rough, I'll see a smile. I'll remember the things he told me. I'll remember the advice he gave me. But mostly, I'll remember my 35th birthday. And my sisters, my cousins took me out after I was having a really rough patch in my life. He got me to laugh. He got me to drink and forget about some of my problems for some time. But the best thing was that anytime I needed him, he was always there. So now I know he's not going to suffer anymore. Happy, he's in a good place, and he's with his papa. And that is all I'll ever remember, is how much he meant to me and how much he affected my life.
Next up is my sticker Uli.
Aloha everyone. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Kuli. Or as Lance like to call me, Kuli. I'm one of Lance's many cousins. A few things that come to mind when I think of Lance was that he loved family. He had an infectious laugh and smile, and that he was an amazing cousin, brother, son, dad, uncle, friend, husband, and this goes on and on. He was not perfect, never claimed to be. He was not without his faults. But when you're around him, he was genuine and loving. One of my lasting memories with Vance was during his niece's birthday. We talked stories, we sang songs, we laughed and drank. But in those moments, being surrounded by friends and family, just seeing how happy Vance was, that we were all together, is one of many that I'll cherish. I remember him telling me these are the moments he loves. As I look around this room, even though we are gathered here in sadness and tribute to Lance, it's awesome to see his wishes still being fulfilled. That family is brought together and join one another. I have learned many things from Lance over our years growing up together, but one lesson that he has taught me is that life is short, that we must not take this precious life we are given for granted. With that said, Lance will continue to live on through all the lives he has touched. For those of you who may not know this, his last miracle was touching another's life by donating his heart. Knowing his heart, which was so big and full of love, is still beating, brings me a little bit of solace, as I know he is still out there touching the lives of many, bringing them joy and laughter. Lance will live on through our hearts, our stories, our memories, and although physically he's no longer on this earth, he is still present. Lance, I will miss you always. I will love you always. I thank you for being a part of my life. I thank the Lord for blessing me with you. I promise that your life and legacy will live on. As we always say, it is never goodbye, but a julio, and until we meet again in paradise.
All right, next up we have B.
Nick?
Give me a second, please. Okay. So I've been rehearsing this in my head like 1,000 times, and I keep thinking to myself, how do you encapsulate a lifetime of memories within a few minutes? How do you feel a hole that could never be filled? You know, but my brother Lance, I'll do my best. You know, he went by many names. Family, well, friends would call him Lance. Family members would call him Bo. And our Marine Corps brothers, we just call him Chavez. I first met Lance the summer of 2000 at Camp Smith, Hawaii. We were all stationed together with myself and my Marine Corps brothers here. I could tell Lance and I were going to be great friends when I first heard his laughter from about 2 rooms down. A laughter that inherently made you laugh as well because it was so infectious. Or hearing a random chew at 4 o'clock in the morning after a long night of drinking. We spent many nights in the upcoming years playing spades, drinking, and going out to our favorite club, the Cellar. Lance and I became close as roommates, and if there's one thing I can tell you, is that Lance would do anything for those he loved. If you needed shelter, he would give you a bed. If you needed warmth, he'd give you his jacket. If you were hungry, he'd give you his last piece of poi. But as my brother Smitty would tell you, I would take everything but let him keep the poi. Not because I disliked it, because he loved it so much. As many good traits as Lance had, he had bad traits as well, like being a Raiders fan. There was a lot of good trash talking between Lance and I throughout the years, being a Niners fan. But in memory of Lance, I'm going to be a Raiders fan for the rest of the year until we play each other on New Year's Day. So I'm going to have to go for my Niners. Lance knew I love that red and gold. The one thing that Lance valued above everything was family, or how he would tell me back in Hawaii, Ohana. The thing about Lance is that when he loved, he worked hard. As I got to know his parents, siblings, cousins, wife, children over the past few decades, I know that loving heart is something he inherited from his family. You all have a strong family bond, and it can never be broken. One thing that I've learned as a father is love for a child is unconditional. From the first time you see and hold your child, there's something as a parent that awakens in you. It's instantaneous love. It is truly love at first sight. I have a son, I have a daughter, but as a father, I'm sure all dads in here could attest to, there's something special about having a daughter. From the moment you lock eyes with them, kind of like the movie Twilight, they use them. You have to wrap around their little fingers, and you belong to them. So what I'm trying to say is, Hoku, you imprinted on your father. You awoken something in your dad he had never felt before. He could have the worst day possible at work and come home and see your face, and all the issues he had from that day would fade. Just seeing your adorable face. Throughout the years, not a day went by that he did not think of you or love you. You always remained his first love, and please don't ever forget that. You lost a father, but you gained many uncles. And whenever you need, we'll tell you many stories about your dad and his happy. Well, remember when I said that a parent's love is unconditional for a child? I love my brother Lance, but he sure did test the unconditional love of his parents, Mama Terry and Rick. Mama Terry and Rick. Lance was beyond blessed to have you as parents. As a parent, you have to show a lot of patience and love with your children. Lord knows you provided that to Lance. You were always there for him, whether he was at rock bottom or on cloud 9. I have personally seen that with my own eyes, and you know that. He loved you two so much, and he was always grateful for everything you did for him, and please never forget that. To his sister and brother, Gina and Anthony, he'd always speak about you guys. It was amazing watching you guys grow throughout the years. He was so proud of you guys. He'd always tell me about how Anthony was doing in baseball. Growing up so fast, and how Anthony was possibly getting bigger and stronger than him, and that he needed to get back to the gym so his little brother would be bigger than him. Do you know Lance always was very protective of you growing up, as a brother should be. His first instinct was to beat up any guy that came close to you. I could tell Lance was so happy to see you blossom into the woman, mother, and wife as you have become. He loved you dearly. Over the past 20 years of knowing Lance, there was one family member he would look up to and always rely on. That was his cousin Josie. He looked up to her as an older sister, and as an older sister, you were a good role model, supported him, loved him, and checked him when he needed to be checked. He always spoke so highly of you, and he loved you so much. To all the cousins, sorry, I'm not going to apologize for this, but Josie was his favorite cousin. There, I said it. No more arguing about it. Lori, I'm so happy that my brother met you. He wanted to be a better man, father, and a husband for you. That is a true definition of a partner in life. Someone who wants the best for you and encourages you to be your best, and that was you, Lori. I can't even describe the way and how much my brother loved you. Both of you brought into the world such bright and beautiful children, which have been a blessing to this family. As husbands and fathers, Lance and I would always talk about our wives and children. Remember when I was talking about how daughters would have, their fathers wrapped around their fingers? Well, it goes the same thing with sons and mothers. And we would speak about how our sons, Jaden and Yasu, would love getting into our beds at night and disrupt extracurricular activities with your wife and husband. So from that day on, we came up with nicknames for our sons. Excuse my language, cock blockers. Lastly, I know there are like a million thoughts running through everyone's mind. If I had just called, did I miss something? Or just feeling guilty about what happened. Lance would not want that of you or for yourself. Just like everyone here, Lance is battling his own demons. My brother's with the Lord now, and it's with the Lord they're feeding him. Thank you.
Our next guest speaker is Pink.
Lord. Everybody here is got a lot of different emotions, but I love everybody here. I'm pretty sure all of you is family. Tell us why. Lance Chavez, my friend, my brother. We met in 2000 back at Camp Smith. A lot of Marines out here, or a lot of them. From day one, we met, we hit it off, got close, started interacting with everybody else on base and getting out to different places together, drinking, like I said, in space, dominoes. After a couple of those interactions, we started hanging out more and more, learning about each other's backgrounds, likes, dislikes. I would teach him about Southern rap tunes. He would teach me about Hawaiian culture. Everything Hawaiian, still there, by the way. I learned from him. I learned especially from him. He would teach me about music, local Hawaiian things, take me to different places like waterfalls. I had never been there from Atlanta, Georgia. Plays different background. But he was always there if I needed it. We Camp Smith, like I said, did everything as a unit. Night cruises, hitting up Blue Isles. This cruising Waikiki was a big part of our lives. Outside and inside, he was a great person. He was somebody that was really outgoing with the people he knew and treated his friends like that. He always said, well, he was always a life of the party. He greeted everybody with that smile of his. You know, everybody knows that smile. Mixed with that sincerity and little mischiefs and happiness and that giggle. It's just a part of who he was. I remind him all the time we spent together. We lived out of town as roommates for probably close to 2 or 3 years. I worked as a doorman at a nightclub we all used to be a part of. So they would come out with me every night just to make sure I got home safe. And I always appreciated that. Nobody knows just work there with me. Got a lot of interesting nights. Lance was somebody everybody wanted to see friends with, and we all wanted to be him. He could be tough to deal with one moment and have you laughing the next. I remember once, me and my wife and him, I don't know what we were doing, we just out cruising the working. I knew we had to get back to the barracks. So he started wrestling with me. I got about like 100 pounds. He was wiry and strong, but most of the gravity was something. But after about 30 minutes, I got him in the car. And as soon as we got in the car, he straightened up and was like, hey, can we go to Jack in the Box? Well, me and the wife just started laughing with the Jack in the Box. And food drove home laughing and eating. That was Lance, though, passionate about everything and playful to dance. It was always a stand-up guy. We could always pick up where we left off from. When we meet even years down the road, we feel like it's Mark from Memphis, Hawaii again, and I got to hang out with you. I didn't get to see everybody. I'm pretty sure we'll meet again, and it'll always be in all of our hearts.
This moment's open mic, so anybody wants to come up here and share any memories about Lance, you're more than welcome to.
Good evening, everybody. Just like these guys standing to the right of me, I served with them from Cleveland, Ohio, first of all, all right?
Okay, sorry.
So when I met him, he, for me, it was like, I feel like he answered every question. He's like, you want to go out, yeah? I'm like, man, let's go out. I didn't. But he did teach me a bunch of Hawaiian culture that I didn't know. So one night, we come back from the club, we're drunk, of course. And I go to my room, he's like, what you about to do? I'm like, man, we're about to age ourselves right now. I'm about to put on a DVD. And we're about to watch, it's a movie called The Best Man. So it's the scene in the movie that says, trying to page Dr. Lance, right? This is the first time I found out this was his name. So in the military, we go by last name. So everybody know me as Rice. B, you got Big, but they got nicknames. I didn't have a nickname, so I was Rice. So I knew him as Chavez. That's all I knew was he was Chavez. So we're sitting in the room watching the movie, and the part goes off. It's like, hey, Mr. Lance, he was like, oh, fool, that's my name. I'm like, oh, your name's Chavez, bro. I can't have a Chavez, bro. He was like, oh, it's Lance, fool. But like the team where everybody else says, that smile, that energy, and I did have to wrestle him a couple times myself. I don't know why, but he felt like he was always a wrestler. But I thank y'all for allowing me to speak on on his behalf today, I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next we're gonna have a hula performance done by my Auntie Johnny. Next, we'll have another hula performance by his sister Eagle.
pray you be our eyes and watch us where we go, and help us to be wise in times when we don't know. Let this be your prayer as we go away. Lead us to a place, guide us with your grace, to a place where we'll be safe. I pray we'll find your light and hold it in our hearts. When stars go out each night, let this be your prayer. When shadows fill our days, we ask that light becomes and watch us from afar. We hope it's so we'll find another soul to love. Let this be our prayer. Let this be our prayer. Just like every child. Just like every child needs to find a place. Guide us with your grace. Give us faith so we'll be safe.
Up next, you have my cousin Josie, Miley, and Gina talk a little bit about the Live Aloha Foundation.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Bo's favorite cousin, Josie, that we was talking about. Nice to meet you all. So we immediately knew that when Lance went to be with our papa and uncle, that we had to do something to live on for him and to carry on the memories that he would want us to do and to do him right. So in doing so, we started a nonprofit foundation called the Live Aloha Foundation, Forever Bo, so that we could help spread the awareness for veteran suicide, so that no family will have to feel the heartbreak and heartache that we will feel for the rest of our lives. And although in our infancy stage, I'm very proud and happy to say that we have 2 corporations that will be annual donors. And we plan to use these funds to give back to his family and to give back to other families that are affected by suicide.
So I'm Miley, the other of the 3 that Lance moved in with when we were little. And when Uncle was talking about him being the ring bearer at their wedding, I was the flower girl. I have 3 numbers for you guys. 1.5, 18 plus, and 6,000. According to the Department of Veterans Affairs, National Veteran Suicide Prevention Annual Support, veterans are 1.5 times greater at risk than a non-veteran populations in those 18 plus, with over 6,000 veterans dying by suicide each year. Despite accounting for only 7.9% of the population. We can't keep letting this happen. Although we know that he's at peace and he's with our papa, we want to make sure that families affected by this are taken care of. And we do our part to make sure that those who gave their lives for us in service to our country are also taken care of.
So as you know, it's called Live Aloha. Live is spelled L semicolon for suicide awareness, because his life will continue on through us. The honu, or turtle, that is on the foundation logo is actually Brada's tattoo from his leg. So again, living aloha just means living each day full of love, giving that love to everyone around us, and feeling that gratitude that we have for each other as family and friends. And again, just to reiterate what my cousin said, we don't want this to happen to anyone else, and we're gonna live on trying to help others so that this won't happen. Yeah.
So we have a Live Aloha bracelet that we'll give out to everybody. It says Forever Bo on the back, so wear them proud. I know that you're watching down. I'm super happy that you guys have them on. We also have some pins, and then the Live Aloha site will be live this weekend. There's merch on there that his design is actually drawn by his kids. So it's super cool. It's really cute. Each garment is signed by Lance. Thanks to our cousin Ku'ui, who pulled his signature from a letter that he wrote to G. So feel free to visit if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to get involved in the nonprofit, please come talk to any of us. We'd be more than happy to have you guys.
We also included QR codes at most of the tables. So if you guys want to keep up with the website, please feel free to scan and bookmark it.
Now we do final acknowledgements, and it's done by Uncle Rick. Now it's your turn.
Oh, it's a short paper.
The big vapor.
Page 11.
You know, other 14 papers. Philippines. Okay. First of all, we would like to acknowledge the following for all they've done to make today possible. Cousin Josie. For your tireless work and pretty much just
bossy, being a badass.
Yeah, being a badass and finding a way to do anything that I would think of. Also, Lynette, we would like to thank you for all that you've done. Miley, cousin Miley. Nico, Kaui, cousin Trina for the lays. H for the video. Thank you. And I'm going to apologize now if I forgot to mention anyone. Just know that anything that you did was greatly appreciated. Thank you all for the kind words and prayers. We felt them, we're feeling them, and hope that your prayers continue to get us through this. Also, thank you for your generous monetary gifts to make this all possible. We love you all. Aloha.
Aloha.
Did you drink on?
Yeah. Just remind them of the video.
And don't forget, too, downstairs is the video that Uncle Rick was talking about. And then now we're going to do a closing prayer and our tribute from the cousins.
So we want to go ahead and close out tonight with the Lord's Prayer. So if you could all or just say it with us, please. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Aloha, aloha, boy, till we meet again. Until we meet again.
until we meet again.
Aku